I want to talk about Activision Blizzard and why we saw a lot of volatility in the company's stock price in 2018, and now being a couple weeks into January of 2019, there have been a lot of internal changes within the company, such as the CFO departures. So I want to basically talk about the backdrop of how the company did overall in 2018 and how it's positioned leading into 2019. And then I'll end it on my thoughts of why I think it's such a great company and where I see things going forward into 2019 and beyond. So to start off, for those of you who don't know, Activision Blizzard is one of the world's foremost best video game companies ever. It has a portfolio of games like World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Candy Crush, Call of Duty, Hearthstone, StarCraft, Diablo. Maybe you've heard of some of those. Anyway, the company split up into 5 business units. First you have Activision, then is Blizzard Entertainment, then Major League Gaming, King, and Activision Game Studios, I believe. Activision Blizzard Studios. So for the purpose of this video, I'm mainly going to focus on Activision, Blizzard Entertainment, and King, because those are the parts of Activision Blizzard in general that produce all of the amazing video games that I know and love. So before talking about the 20 to 40% decline in Activision's stock price last year, I want to talk about MAU, or monthly active users. This is a really important term and stat that investors and analysts look at when seeing how well the company is doing in terms of its growth potential and overall health. The reason is that this represents the user base, how many people are playing their games. If it's declining month over month, then it looks like they're losing subscribers in World of Warcraft, people are playing less Hearthstone, people are buying less in-game loot, stuff like that. So this is a really important driver for them. For the majority of 2018, for all 3 quarters that we have released so far, I'll start from the beginning. Q1, there was 374 million monthly active users. In Q2, there were 352, and in Q3, there were 345. So from those statistics, we can see that there is a decline of 2% from Q2 to Q3. The decline can be argued to stem from the viral popularity of Fortnite and a lot of battle royale games that have preceded that. The reason really being is that it's just a new flavor of game, it's free to play, and it's just something that we haven't seen in the market before. If you haven't played Fortnite, I highly recommend it. I play it myself, and there's a reason it's as popular as it is. So for the majority of the year, Activision's stock price is grinded higher. That means that it increased over time. And there's a lot of anticipation of new games that the company was going to release, like the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, and the new World of Warcraft expansion that I love and play all the time, Battle for Azeroth. And a few other releases too, like the new Destiny Forsaken release that came out, that game. And so there's a lot of hype over all these games, and so for the majority of the year, investors were waiting to see, how many monthly active users will there be once those games come out, what will the in-game purchases be in terms of revenue, things like that. And I'll start with the new World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth expansion that came out in August on the 14th. This set a new one-day franchise record with more than 3.4 million units sold, bringing in $646 million in revenue. On October 12th, the Call of Duty franchise Black Ops 4 game came out. This set a new launch day record as the largest day one sales for digital releases in the company's history. It sold more than $500 million worth in revenue for the first 3 days, which is a huge thing for them. But overall, it didn't outpace last year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 game, which hit investors hard. With companies like Activision Blizzard, they want to see the new games that come out, the new expansions or releases, do considerably better than last year's version. Each iteration should be getting better, not worse. And revenue, as investors like to view it as is a way of seeing and telling how good a video game is. If it's not making more than last year's, then is it really that much better? So moving on, Destiny 2 released an expansion that only brought in $397 million. King's Candy Crush game brought in $506 million in revenue. So these were all of the expected game releases and sort of numbers that the community of investors and analysts were waiting to hear and see. Over time, all of these factors were coming into play. It was doing well with a new, World of Warcraft expansion that came out. There was a lot of anticipation surrounding the new Black Ops game because Fortnite was kind of putting a burden on their MAU, lowering their monthly active users, and a lot of gamers, possibly from Blizzard and other video games around the world, have flocked towards Fortnite because it is such a huge game now. So all this stuff was coming into play, and for the most part, Activision stock price grinded higher. So that means it was increasing over time. And it got to an all-time high of $84.68, which is huge compared to where it was this time a year ago. And so the turning point, from what I see, came in early November with BlizzCon. Blizzard gets to showcase the best things they have to offer. They celebrate the fans, they have cosplays, they have esports tournament championships, and announce anticipated games they have planned for their fans. One of the cool things that they released and showed was the WoW Classic. I know a lot of WoW players like myself are interested to see what the new Classic is going to be like. I think this is a way to get rid of private servers and sort of keep a bunch of their player base on their actual games instead of flocking to these off-created private servers. So anyway, Diablo Immortal. This was the new Diablo game that they announced. Blizzard announced that Diablo Immortal, which is the new Diablo game, a franchise that's been around for decades, is now going to be released on mobile, and this took fans by surprise. Basically, every single Blizzard and almost all Activision games are on PC, besides the ones that can be played on console. The majority of their games are PC focused. To say that their new huge game is going to be on the phone, it came as a shock. So the Blizzard devs who introduced the game to the fans at BlizzCon ended up getting a lot of boos from the crowd because there was no plan to bring this to PC. It was all going to be, and it's all going to be on mobile. Some speculation around this is that they want to broaden their reach out to the China market. China has a lot of users there, a lot of people in general, millions and millions of people there. It makes sense from that perspective. I know King it brings in the most revenue for Activision Blizzard in general, just because it is a mobile game and Candy Crush is so accessible. But to bring one of their main franchise games that people love and only play on the PC, to move it to a completely different platform, it's pretty crushing. To sum up, after BlizzCon on November 8th, when the third quarter earnings got released, and there was some talk about what happened at BlizzCon and some backlash surrounding that. So this brings me to the third quarter earnings announcements. On November 8th, third quarter earnings came out, and basically what happened was that, like I stated earlier, the monthly active user base declined by 2%. It is now surrounding 345 million users, and then there's controversy surrounding the rise of Battle Royale games and how they've negatively affected Activision's player base. And there's the new Call of Duty game with its Battle Royale mode trying to bandwagon a year after Fortnite came out and trying to compete with their Battle Royale free-to-play game. It received worse initial sales compared to its previous installment of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and on top of that, there's a muted response from fans surrounding its Diablo Immortal announcement at BlizzCon. This shows the company is not doing the best at delivering what the fans want. So the third quarter earnings reports that Blizzard released on November 8th came out and basically disseminated all of the information that I kind of touched upon earlier. The monthly active user base declined over the year. We saw a 2% decline from Q2 to Q3. Black Ops 4 didn't end up doing that well, even though it had that $500 million uptick in revenue for 3 days. But comparatively to their last installment of Modern Warfare 2, it didn't end up doing that good, and that's something that investors want to see. They want to see a continual increase in revenue of later installments and a continual increase in user base over time. Those are the things that people look at when they see if a video game company is doing better. This is how they make improvements, and this is what leads to continued growth over the long term. So those factors on top of what happened at BlizzCon and them talking about the new Diablo game that's going to be released on mobile to basically get more reach in the Chinese market were a bunch of the factors that really led to the stock declining later that day in after hours trading by around or over 10%, give or take. So in total for the year, the stock declined at upwards of 28%. So now that we're in 2019, we have a decent understanding of where Activision Blizzard is in general. It hit all-time highs in early September to October, and then in November it declined and onwards to December. So where does that leave the company now? Activision Blizzard is currently in a time where it has a lot of strong franchises in its games behind it, but it's seeing competitors like Fortnite, PUBG, all these free battle royale games that are pulling from their subscriber base and drawing their attention elsewhere. And so some of the things that we began to see, especially in the first couple weeks of January of this year, were the CFO departures and leadership changes. These are actually not very common. And when you see a C-suite executive or somebody who is in that top tier level of a company, it's alarming, and especially for an investor. So I want to dive into the two that actually took place in the early weeks of January. The first CFO departure was Spencer Newman. He was fired by Activision Blizzard and hired 2 days after by Netflix. And it seems like the speculation has been that Netflix has been poaching him for quite some time. Newman, he was hired by Activision back in 2017, where he moved from Walt Disney to Activision, which is a short tenure, and now he's moved to Netflix. So it seems like he's been bouncing around for quite some time. Dennis Durkin will assume responsibilities of CFO now that he has left, and the good news is that Dennis has held the position for quite some time, for 5 years, from 2012 to 2017. So in terms of Activision Blizzard, they're financially sound, I guess, in terms of operational structure. Dennis has them. I think all will be okay. The next to go was Amrita Aja. She moved from Blizzard to Square, and she spent more than 8 years at Activision. The reasoning and speculation around Spencer is more controversial than Amrita. It just sounds like she's been there for a while, 8 years now, and possibly just looking for other opportunities. But the fact that both of them left within a couple weeks' time is an indicator that something is going on within the company and something needs to be solved, whether that's in terms of really innovating their games or, some other operational issues that we don't know about currently. So now this leads me to talk about the most recent news that's been happening with Activision Blizzard, the Bungie and Activision split. On January 10th, Activision announced that it was transferring the rights to Destiny back to its creator, Bungie, and that the two companies will end their 10-year partnership early. So let me touch upon and give some background and context to this first before really explaining it. So about 8 years or so ago, Bungie was working with Microsoft, a huge company in its own right. Microsoft and Bungie are making Halo, a huge game, as we all know. And when you work with a large company like that, it comes with a lot of its own pressures, a lot of, deadlines and benchmarks you have to make in terms of releasing a game on time and hitting a certain revenue mark. It's really a lot to, work with. And so I'd imagine that that's the reason why Bungie ended up looking to partnership with Activision a while ago. And so they partnership with Activision, and they signed a 10-year agreement to publish 4 Destiny games with expansions throughout. And fast forward to 2019, there's only 2 Destiny games with a couple expansions here and there, and now they split up and they want to do their own thing. And so I think this was kind of apparent in the third quarter earnings call when, funny enough, it was Spencer Newman, a CFO who left, stated that some of our other franchises like Destiny are not performing as well as we'd like, and we're working to accelerate the pace of innovation and improve the speed with which we release new content, keep our players engaged, and to provide new opportunities for monetization. So basically, I think Bungie ended up being in the same situation that it was with Microsoft. It ended up working with a great company in Activision Blizzard, but in the end, things took a turn for the worse because they focused all on these benchmarks and hitting revenue and releasing these games on time, and they only have 2 Destiny games out now. In the end, Bungie is paying Activision to end the contract early and to take the rights to Destiny. Analysts expect that this will create a loss of around $400 to $500 million in revenue for Activision in their Q4 earnings report. And I just want to reiterate that Activision is a company with $7 billion in revenue every year. So in reality, this is only going to be about a 5% trim off their total revenue for the year, which is not that detrimental, but it is very concerning because now they have one less franchise game they can put through. So this leads me to my overall thoughts on Activision, where I think things are going to go from here. So I think Activision is currently in a place where, there's a lot of controversy surrounding it with the CFO departures and with some of its games not hitting, the current benchmarks that they expected. So Call of Duty not making more money than its previous installment. And then with Diablo, the new game coming out on mobile, it really ticked fans off. So there's a bunch of these factors, and also with Fortnite, the Battle Royale, really overtaking gamers and really driving people in that direction. So all these factors concoct kind of a challenging environment for Activision Blizzard going forward. They really have to, I think, they have to really take a step back and really think about what they're going to be doing for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. They have to think long term. And what I think a lot of people, when they see these earnings reports and stuff like that and things on the news, you need to take it with a grain of salt, because a company like this is not going to go away just because it has 2 CFO departures and a couple months worth of bad earnings and revenue and whatnot. The company really has to get back to its roots. I'm a huge World of Warcraft player. I was really into it back in high school and a little bit in college, and back in the day when they had Mist of Pandaria and Wrath of the Lich King, you really, I think, got that feeling where the game could captivate you and you could really get sucked into it. And now they're really targeting their games to be more casual based, and just for a person who doesn't may not have to put that much effort into a game, and it's easy to hop on and just get things going. And so where I'm going with this is I think they just need to take a step back and really create games and innovate in ways that are true to themselves, and not try and just solely drive profits and revenues and just basically make more money. They need to focus on things that their fans will love and listen to their fans. It's taken them years and years to make this WoW Classic game, and they only did it really because there's so many private servers drawing WoW players away from their current game because they were unhappy with it. So they need to get back to what made them this big in the first place. Really, whether that be, I don't know, but they need to do that. They need to stop caring about revenue and all this stuff so much and just really focus on innovating in their own way. Sure, they have to compete with Fortnite and make a battle royale game just to, have something out there so they're not going to be losing in that arena. But in general, they need to keep pushing forward with the what they believe in and just stop caring so much about hitting these earnings. And I think they'll be okay heading into 2019 and beyond. I think it'll be kind of a slow year for them in terms of financials. I mean, it's just expected. But for the long term, I believe Activision will be okay. And I'm just excited to see what else they have to come out with in terms of the games and all that good stuff. So I just want to say thank you guys if you made it this far in the video and watched. Please give it thumbs up if you liked the video. This will really show me that you enjoyed what I was talking about and that there might be an opportunity to talk about more things with Activision and other gaming companies and anything involving video games in general out there. That's really what I enjoy, and I want to learn more as I keep going. I don't know everything, and I hope that you guys took something out of this and that you actually learned something and got some value out of this. Also, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think Activision Blizzard can be doing to keep getting better and to keep, innovating. I know they've faced a lot